welcome back. So this is going to be part 2 of cleaning up this tractor, getting ready to sell it. Again, if you haven't seen the first video, since I got the new X580, I'm going to be selling the old D105 here, and I'm just trying to clean it up, spruce it up a little bit, make it look as best as I can for a potential buyer. In the first video, we went through removing the deck, cleaning up the deck, and installing the deck on it. In this video, I'm going to try to finish everything else up. So I have some safety concerns I want to address. Of course, vacuuming it down, wiping it down, and yeah, just in general, little touch-ups here and there that I can do to make it look better. So let's get into it. All right, so first thing, it's pretty simple, something small, just something that I want to try to clean up, make it look a little better. This tire got a little leak in it last season, and I have a plug in here. I didn't bother cutting the end off, making it look nice and clean. So I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna cut that off. And then I have just one of these little rubber patches I'm gonna put over it just to make it smooth, seal it off, you know, just in general, try to clean it up and make it look good. So we'll get into doing that. So first things first, I'm just gonna clean up this area around it. I just have a rag here, a little bit of solvent on it. There's some dust and debris from around it. I don't want to cut that off and then have it get inside any more than what may already be in there. So I'm just going to clean this tire up around there. Just like that. Alright, so now it's nice and clean. Should have a clean surface to adhere that new piece of rubber to. Next, I'm just going to take a razor blade and a pair of pliers to hold the plug. If this works well. The plug's kind of slick. And I'm just going to kind of lightly saw at this until it comes off like that. And we have a nice plug still sticking in there. So from there, so I have this patch kit. Comes with everything you need. I already have one of these rubber patches out that I cut the corners off just to make it a little cleaner looking rather than just a straight up square. The lid on it has like this abrasive cheese grater kind of thing going on. So you just use that and rough up that area. So we'll give this a little bit of a scuff. Try to rough that up a bit. And you can see there's some rubber collecting inside there. You see that, you know you're getting it. All right, then we're gonna take our rag again. Give it one little clean up. Dry it off. From there, gonna put some of our rubber cement on there. Spread it around a little bit. Pull the backing off our rubber repair patch. Usually you put these on the inside of a tube. You don't necessarily have to put this out on the outside of the tube. I just want it to look a little bit cleaner than a little piece of plug sticking out. So then, actually, I'll put a little bit more on there. Get a little more coverage. Should be better. And we'll put our patch right on there. Just like that. Push it around. Ideally, you want to see a little bit of squeeze out all the way around it. We're close to the letters and numbers there, so I don't get it completely centered, but it'll be good enough for what I'm trying to do here. Now I'm just gonna take my rag again. Try to blot up some of that extra adhesive from around it. And then with a clean part, I'll just use that to push down. Make sure that patch is stuck on there good. And there you go. We have a nice patch on there. It looks a little bit better. Doesn't catch the eye as quick, make you wonder, oh man, I'm buying a machine with a bad tire. I've used this for almost the whole mowing season with that plug in there, and I haven't had any issues, so I don't anticipate anyone having an issue with this. So yeah, let's move on to the next piece. So this next piece has to do with the reverse implement option, safety, and having to deal with the seat safety. So when I was younger, first started using a lawnmower or a riding lawnmower at my grandmother's house. It was an old late 80s, probably 90s Murray riding lawnmower. Looks something like this. And this thing had no safeties on it to what I could remember. If you wanted to go in reverse with the blades on, there's no problem, put it in reverse. You mow with the blades on in reverse. If you wanted to get off it while riding with the blades engaged, you could do that. As far as I can remember, it didn't have any kind of safety. Fast forward to when I got this thing and realized that it was just wanting to shut off whenever I'd go into reverse. It started driving me crazy. I don't think I bothered with bypassing it at the last place I lived, but getting here, mowing a lot more, and having to go in reverse a little bit more, really started to be a pain and a waste of time. Along with being able to hop off it real quick to get one of the dog's balls out of the way, or one of the kids' toys, something like that I didn't notice earlier. It's really an inconvenience. So I bypass these. However, I'm not going to do a video on how to bypass these. I'm going to show you me removing the bypass, but I'm not going to talk about how I did it. If you happen to see how I did it, cool. There's plenty of other videos out there. I just don't want to be responsible if somebody does it and they say, oh, well, this guy showed me how to do it, and I don't want sued or anything like that. Is that a bit of a far-fetched idea? Maybe, but it could happen. And especially when selling this, I don't want somebody coming back at me trying to tell me that I sold them a machine that's unsafe. So I disabled these safeties in a way that it could be redone in the event that I'm selling it, and here I am selling it. So we're gonna disengage them. So the first one, you need to open the hood for the reverse implement. It's kind of a pain to get to. It's tucked up under there. I find it easiest to pop the actual switch out. You can see I don't have the switch plugged in right now because it doesn't need to be. And basically, feeling around in there, you find the plug for it. It's simple as pull this wire out, and then you need to fish this back up through where you pulled out the reverse implement switch. Fish that wire back up in there. The connector out like that. You can plug your switch back in. And then pop it back in where it goes. Simple as that. Reverse implement's good to go again. This next safety is the seat safety switch. This basically is there so that if the mower is still on and you go to get off of it, it will shut down. Now, I'm not honestly sure if on this one, if you have the parking brake engaged, if you can get off it with the engine running, but when reading the manual for the X580, you can do that. Due to that reason, I'm not gonna do this disable on the X580. It was done on this one. I'm going to reinstall that safety for this tractor. They're again pretty easy. I'm not gonna say how it's done. You can look up some videos to find it. I don't want to be responsible for anybody getting hurt doing this. So I have the plug zip tied down just to keep it out of the way. That way whenever I'm fueling or anything, riding around, the plug doesn't get damaged. So we'll take that zip tie off. Gotta take out a little tab. And then under the seat, you just line our connector up with the pins. These pins got a little bit bent. Bend them back out. Of course, nothing ever wants to cooperate. There we go. Connector's back on. Seat safety, ready to go. First things first, I'm gonna get rid of some stuff that was useful for me, not probably quite so useful for anyone else. It's gonna be this little Velcro strip you can see here. Now, I say useful for me. This is actually for the tow behind lawn sweeper. Basically, you put that piece of Velcro somewhere on the tractor, and then the handle for the sweeper, you can stick to it. That way it's right there, ready to go. I ended up finding this didn't work out too well, and depending on how you turn, the line could get, tied around the tow behind itself, and it would rip off, and it just didn't work out. I ended up finding that the grass gets heavy enough in there that it's easier to just get off the tractor completely, grab that handle from the tow behind itself, and then empty it that way. So we're just gonna take this off. All right, we got that adhesive off, and we'll get it cleaned up. Some mineral spirits on a rag should clean that up, no problem. Dry it off. Like it wasn't even there. I think next I'm gonna get the vacuum back out, vacuum everything down good. You can see grass builds up around the footwells there, under the seat. There's a couple little rocks, some dirt, stuff like that. On the transaxle, you can see some junk gets built up in there. Underneath on the frame doesn't look too bad, but I'll get what I can. You can see there in the transaxle again, there's some stuff. I think under the hood for the most part looks pretty good. This is just gonna require some wiping down really. But yeah, we'll get to some vacuuming. All right, that's about it for vacuuming. Next we'll move on to wiping it all down. All right, so I'm gonna start under the seat first off. The gas can or the gas tank there might be a little hard to get to, but I'm just gonna use an Armor All wipe. Just try to wipe what dust and debris I can out of there. Again, you don't need to go taking these things completely out or anything crazy. Just, like I said, trying to make it look presentable. I'm just going to use a soft, dry cloth. That's more than sufficient to wipe off all the dust. It's not a brand new car, but looks pretty good. From here, I'll move you up. Actually, I'll put the seat down. We'll do the back of the seat, of course. We're just gonna use another Armor All wipe for that. Seat will definitely get dusty and dirty back here if you're using a dethatcher. Depending on what you're going through, the lawn sweeper can get this area pretty dirty. We'll go up the sides of it too. That nice and clean. And then you can also get the top side of the frame and even the front of the frame for the seat while you're doing that. Get all that dust off. All right, and I think that'll do it for the back of the tub and the back of the seat. Now we will move down and do the back of the frame. Back of the frame, pretty dirty. It's down there at the business end of all the little tow behinds and stuff. I'm just gonna use one of the Armor Alls that I had from before and wipe this area down. You can do these little axle covers. So that's funny, I actually never realized that. This is actually just a piece of plastic that covers the actual transaxle. So you might think your axle's that thick, but in reality, it's probably a good bit less than that. Sorry, my furnace kicked on again. Moved you over to the side here. I'm just gonna start cleaning along the frame rail a little bit. We'll do that to the other side, and then the rear portion of your frame should be pretty clean and good to go. For the operator station here, footwells, there again, you have this black plastic, so you hit that with the Armor All. So now that all the black plastic pieces are done, I'm just gonna use the dry rag again, wipe off all the dust from the tub. Totally forgot about the foot pad on this side. We're gonna move to the hood. We'll start out with these vents for the engine. I've tried using plastic scratch remover to try to clean this up. I don't think it really did anything except dull the finish of the hood actually. So I would not recommend using anything other than soap, water, or water on a dry rag when cleaning off these hoods, because chances are it's not going to do anything for you. And that is it for exterior cleaning other than wheels. We're gonna clean the forward part of the frame and under the hood. So there again, I'm just gonna take the Armor All wipe. It's pretty easy. And just start wiping everything down. So now that we got the engine area all cleaned out, the forward portion of the frame cleaned out, we're gonna move on to the last thing I think I'm gonna do with this thing, and that is grease the front axles. So on each side, you have a grease fitting here, you have a grease fitting in here for the wheel. These 100 series mowers do not have ball bearings for the wheels. It's just a bushing in there, and you got to keep them greased, otherwise that can wear out a lot faster, and then you'll start to have a wheel wobble a little bit. So I'm going to use the same grease as I did for the deck. We're just going to push that on there, give it a couple pumps, not a whole bunch. You can see some squeezing out there. I keep these greased well, so it doesn't take much at all. Pull it off. I'm gonna move it just a little bit. Put it on the spindle. And a couple pumps in there, good to go. Aw, the grease fitting came out. Got that grease fitting back in. We're gonna try that one more time. Pop the gun on there. Just gonna give it one pump because I already see it coming out on the back side of the spindle. Just give that a quick wipe down. So we're going to do that to the opposite side, and then we're good to go there. Now, there is one more grease fitting on this machine for the front axle, and that is under the very center of the axle. I am not going to grease this right now. In order to do that, I got to get the thing lifted up or use my other gun, which has a different type of grease, and I don't feel like switching it out. I grease these regularly, so I'm not really too worried about it right now. I'm probably just going to let it go as is and just make sure, whoever the new owner may be, that there is a grease fitting under there that they also need to pay attention for. Very last step is clean up the wheels. Obviously, just going to go around to all four, take a rag. This one has a little bit of dripping grease from the axle, but we're just going to get all the dust out of it. There again, I do clean these fairly regularly, so not super dirty. Just want to get the majority of debris out of there. Again, making it look presentable. Do that to all four, and then the wheels are clean. I actually forgot two things. First one, the seat. So these John Deere seats, and most seats for these types of tractors, are notorious for cracks like this, getting little rips in them. I tried to do everything I could. It finally gave out. So one thing I use is this Mother's VLR spray. It's for vinyl. So I just spray some of that on a cloth,
spray a little on a seat, and then wipe the seat down with this. And for the longest time, it did a pretty good job, I think, until my daughter started getting to the point to where she was wanting to climb on the thing constantly. And then it finally gave out from her getting her little boots up on there. So, wipe that down. And that just cleans that off. It'll help preserve it. Unfortunately, I can't do too much about that crack other than if I were to buy a seat cover for it, which, who knows, they're like 20 bucks. So I may or may not do that just to make it a little bit more appealing. So, that's that. The last thing is the washout port. So I just noticed there's no rubber O-ring in here, and I just have this little bag of spare garden hose parts laying around. I'm just gonna take a washer out of that, put that in there. It's just another one of those things that if you're looking to buy one of these, it's one less thing that you would have to worry about having to track down. So with that, I think this thing's ready to sell. Now all I gotta do is just take some pictures. So at this point, I think I'm gonna conclude this video. Just want you guys to remember, if you're ever trying to sell something like this, it's best just to put a little bit of effort into cleaning it. I know I, for one, if I see something on, whether it be Facebook Market, any kind of site like that, if there's something on there with really bad pictures, or it's not clean, I've seen stuff covered in snow, like how are you supposed to even see it? So just do a little bit of work, you know, make it presentable for sale, and hopefully it'll give you some better luck selling. So with that, thank you again for watching. I know this probably wasn't the most entertaining video, but hopefully it'll, you know, give you an idea for how you can clean something up to make it look more appealing for sale. So of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I will get back to you as best I can. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. One thing, engine oil and oil filter. Along with that, fuel filter and air filter. These are, you know, yearly maintenance items. I do these yearly. I actually have all the items for this mower. However, I know some people, they go ahead and do that stuff anyway when they buy equipment like this, whether they just don't trust the person before them or what. In the ad for this, I will put that I can do the oil filter, all that stuff, all those changes for you. However, I just want to leave it up to somebody. I hate to put all that on there, have somebody get it, and then change everything right away again when it already has brand new equipment. So that's just something I didn't show in this video. If, however, whoever wants to buy it does say they want it done, I will make a quick video just showing how to do the oil change, the fuel filter change, all that stuff. So yeah, that's why you may not have seen that maintenance. That's all I got.